All right, guys. So I want to try to get gaming content in on my TikTok here. And so I'm going to start with this. Suicide Squad kills the Justice League. Now, I have not got to play this because I have an Xbox One. Sadly, the cloud gaming does not work for me. And my PC does not have the graphics card yet able to handle a version of this. I'm working on that so I can try to play it. But if you don't know and you're just behind, this was a game that came out. It got dragged online. And it seems like the complaints were used to mask the underlying issue, which was the live service aspect of a game that should have been just a single player game. So I'm going to read some stuff from my article here in a minute, but basically, this game is another storied game by a company that's done various good Batman titles. And I've loved those. And from what I've seen, I have a friend who has streamed this, and from the clips that he's posted and a little bit I've seen, the game looks great. I don't see any problem with the story. Some of the complaints that people had out were things like there was too much talking. It's a solo play narrative is what it was. We got to the point where modern gaming people just can't enjoy a story, that they're that stuck in games with no stories that this was just too much for them. I heard other complaints saying that the graphics were off, that it didn't look as good as some of the Arkham games. They compared Harley Quinn to Harley Quinn from some of the Arkham games, and there's a reason for that. And the reason for that is because this game was designed to be a live service game, not a solo play. And when you have live service games, certain ones that are developed, they're going to look better or have more features in the online, but less graphical acuity, if you will. As an example, some games don't have that. Like Grand Theft Auto 5's online and solo play are almost identical in how they look. There's some differences. Games like Red Dead Redemption 2, though, the main game to me looks vastly different than what the online play version looks. There's differences there in how it looks. Like it looks better on the solo play. That's because in multiplayer games, you have to sacrifice some of the pretty to get that multiplayer aspect. The problem is that there's not really a good multiplayer aspect for this game. It didn't need to be there. Now, refunds were issued for this because people complained. The main issue is that you could not play this game if you weren't connected to the internet, which is a huge issue. This game should not be a game that is locked to online play only if it's got a solo play narrative. Solo modes should always be available regardless of the online state. Otherwise, you're renting a game, you're not buying it. Now, they've doubled down, and JB Perriette said, rather than just launching a one-and-done console game, how do we develop a game around, for example, a Hogwarts Legacy or Harry Potter that is a live service where people can live and work and build and play it? Not every game needs to be live service. And live service is a cash grab. Okay, as an example I gave to friends, you can still have the fun DLC and extras and people will buy it. All of my costumes from the Arkham games still work, and that's not a live service game. I paid for those. They all work. They got my money. I have them. I'll continue to have them. The thing is here, they don't want just one game that makes them a little bit of money. No, they want these cows that they can milk over and over and over. And unfortunately, GTA Online is kind of to blame for that. Because these other game companies have seen how big GTA Online is, that's what they want to make now. They want to make games that you're going to spend 5-6 years in. And people didn't believe this, but the average player over the course of GTA Online, the average player spent 10 grand. That's over the lifetime of them having the game. And a lot of people are like, how is that possible? If you think about that, that game had been out for, I think it's 10 years now. That's $1,000 a year. That's nothing if you're buying shark cards here and there. It's nothing. And they want to replicate that because now you may have bought the game for $60, $80, but if they know they can get close to $1,000 a year from you, oh, they want that. And that's better than any subscription they can put out because subscriptions, a lot of people are not going to pay more than $100 or $150 per year to play a game. So they want these massive titles where they can just suck money out of you through useless purchases that when they shut down the live service, it's not good anymore. I cannot tell you how dismaying it is to see the number of people who are championing a new Grand Theft Auto game and don't seem to care that the thousands of dollars they spent on cosmetics and in-game items in GTA Online will not carry over. And I've seen two crowds. Some are like, yeah, they'll let it carry over. And it's like, no, they won't. And there's the other crowd that's just like, can't wait to spend more money on the new game. I understand having interest in that and spend your money how you want. But unfortunately, when it shifts the entire industry to make live service games where you're not allowed to own the game and it's just gone one day, it really is ridiculous. There are tons of games I have from previous generation consoles and eras in gaming where I still have all the stuff. I have everything and I can still use it. So I don't think live service is necessary. They're trying to push it as this, and I think they used Suicide Squad here as a excuse to do that because now Warner Brothers wants to only make live service games. And look, you can't compare a game that should have been solo play like Suicide Squad here to Hogwarts Legacy. You can't. Those are two very different things. That'd be like saying, like, you know, hey, WoW is pretty successful. We should make every game like WoW, and then claiming that Resident Evil as a game series is a failure because WoW succeeded and Resident Evil didn't. Like, that doesn't make any sense. It's two different things, but they've got so many people duped into believing that. That's not to say that there wasn't work that could have been done in the Suicide Squad game. There is work that could have been done. I think the story was fine. There's always work that needs to be done on these AAA titles. No game is going to be perfect fresh out of the oven, and they need time to fix that. But they let the bad press run things away that they wanted, and they just threw their hands up and like, I guess we're done with solo play games. Live service from here on out, guys. And yes, games cost money to make, but they can still make money via DLC and the other. Part of that's greed. They want to make more than they actually deserve on these games, while also paying the staff far less. And that's why the games industry is in the position it's in right now. They don't want to pay people what they're worth to build these games, and then they don't want to do anything else but have these constant cash grabs. So, and this is coming from me, a person who, and I've stated this on this channel before, I have no problem paying for battle passes. I love the concept of battle passes. I think they're great if they're leveraged correctly. I don't necessarily like battle passes that expire. I would have no problem if a game had a battle pass every, quarter, and I had to pay a heftier price at the end of when they were live. I would do that. I would willingly, at this point, I'll tell you right now, pay $20 for a battle pass with a pro tier. That's $20 for the free and the pro tier, and know that I would have to pay upwards of an additional, $80 a year to get bonus content as though it was a DLC and still have to work towards unlocking the content. I'm all for working towards rewards and having to pay for that opportunity as it was DLC. But I'm not for this making it a live service, and no matter what work I put in, I don't keep the items. That's ridiculous. This is where you're going to see a decline in certain things. One, people can only do so many live service games. And if I have to pick and choose, I'm going to be really picky. But I may not even enter into games if they're going to be live service only. Anyway, guys, what are your thoughts on this? Where are you at with this? Have you played Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League? Did you think it was bad? Why? What was your reasoning for that? I'd be glad to discuss those things. And if you have any comments on what Warner Brothers here is doing, also don't forget Warner Brothers is also screwing over Warner Bros. Discovery is also screwing over the Adult Swim side of things. If you didn't see, they're delisting multiple games that Adult Swim ran, owned by WB Discovery as a result. WB Discovery is really trashing the gaming landscape. They're up there with a few other companies currently that are just destroying gaming as we know it. So, what are your thoughts, guys?